anti-player of the slate. That goes to our friend Chris Cheetam. One, performed terribly in their series in Oklahoma City. Hey, welcome back to Fade the Mahoney. We're going to preview the last series of the regular season between the Predators and all I have is Predators jerseys. I haven't had anybody on the Eagles on the show yet who has a jersey. Shout out Dallas Allen and Blade Walker, right? They've both been on the show, but they don't have jerseys. We're going to be joined, special guest correspondent Chris Cheetam, formerly good player from the Great Lakes Gators. Before I get to mention it, go buy a Chris Cheetam jersey. I did.
It might be off the store soon, so you might want to get that while supplies last.
Well, you haven't demanded to be traded like your buddy Chadwick, right? So you'll still be wearing this next year.
No, I will be a Great Lake Gator next year. I guess I'll touch up on that before we get into this really quick, because I haven't been on the show in a while. So, second half of our season didn't go the way we wanted. The trade for Chadwick, I know a lot of people are going to criticize it because we didn't make the playoffs. Honestly, with the way our season trended outside of that Diamondback series, you could kind of see the writing on the wall that even with Chadwick on our team, we weren't going to make the playoffs. I thought we played well against the Wildcats, really well, actually. I thought we easily could have swept them. We had a lot of base runners in game one, couldn't get the job done. Game two, it was just, a slugfest. That ball in game two was really beat up. So me and Sailor were really struggling through that. And then game three, it was an absolute battle that could have gone either way. So I think you saw the upside that could be our lineup. I think it was good. I think we had a lot of hits as a team. I thought Jorgie played really well in the series. So if we're playing like that, I think we will come out with a lot of series wins, but it's about keeping that together and making sure we all play like that. So it was definitely more of a long-term move, I think, in our opinion, because, these draft picks, it's getting tougher and tougher to find playing time for these picks, as you can see with some of the people in the league. So, having these extra draft picks really doesn't do a whole lot for us unless these guys are superstars coming in to take our jobs. So it was like, why not get an established good player in the league? And we got, 3 pitchers now. We can kind of mix and match while we work hard in the offseason, try to get better. So, it was definitely a disappointing season. Had its ups and downs, a lot of downs, obviously. And we'll be back, though. I'm very confident that we can be competitive in this league, and I think we'll be a playoff team next year, hopefully.
All right. And your squad right now is your squad next year, right? You don't have a pick. Yeah.
We have no draft picks. We don't really have any intentions of making any moves at the moment. You never know, but we just made a big trade. I thought it was kind of a preview going into next year. We knew like maybe it wasn't our year, even if we did sneak in the playoffs, because just how good some of the other teams have played, how we didn't have, a great season by any stretch of the imagination. So I think it was a good kind of preview for us to see what it could be like. And I think, again, if we play like that all around, there's some stuff to fix for sure, some chemistry issues, just trying to play together. We played a lot of wiffle ball together, but, me and Jason have to communicate better at first base. Some of our base running could be a little bit better. I feel like we left some runs out there. So I think that comes with some time. And I think adding him to our team was a good move, despite what some other people may think.
All right.
I got a question. Without seeing the schedule in advance or anything, what would you set the Gators over under at for wins next season? I said it low this year, and I told everybody to take the under. So what would you set it at for next year?
Is this for me or for Mike?
No, it's for you.
Oh, man, making me evaluate. I know we only had 3 wins this year, so I'm going to try to look at it from a general standpoint. I think we're going to be very much improved next year. I would probably set it at 6.5. I think there's no way we're getting swept 3 times again next year. I think if we do that, I think it might be time for us all to hang it up. But, so we'll see on that. But I really think that we're gonna be all right next year. So I would say 6.5. I'm maybe 7.5. We'll see, somewhere around there.
All right.
Yeah. I hope that Mike doesn't have to clip that out next season after he gets swept a couple times.
After we go 0-15.
You're gonna file that little nugget away, Trevor. I know, for the next year's preview.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's preview this series. Trevor and I will do gambling talk real quick, and then I imagine we're going to have some specific questions for you about the matchup, especially with your experience. You played both of these teams your first 2 series of the year, I think. Does that sound right?
Yep. Feels like a long time ago. That's for
It
sure.
really does. This done a lot of shows since then, Trevor.
Yeah, for real.
All right. First thing we always talk about is the money line on the series. We talk about who's favored and how much they're favored by. We put a dollar amount on it. Trevor, Eagles, Predators, who's favored and what's the line?
First of all, I love that this is the last series of the year. This is like a playoff atmosphere you'd imagine. Both teams have a lot to play for.
Yep.
Expect some really good wiffle ball from both teams. I think you have to give the slight edge to the Eagles based all on their second pitcher. Obviously Kracht has been incredible this year. Dallas and Daniel have both been great. McGlade has been serviceable, but I think you have to imagine that the Eagles have the edge there.
Right.
So I'm going to put the Eagles at -125, and I assume that you're going to take the Preds. As the resident Preds fan here.
I mean, as far as hitting goes, the Preds, I mean, it's not really an argument. They're better hitters, right? As a team.
As a team, I mean, the Eagles had the best team batting average going into the last series.
Really? Huh. Maybe I should have done some homework.
I mean, they do have the benefit. I like the Preds lineup because it is that 3-man lineup. So you'd expect it to be the 3-man lineup. So, if they are seeing the ball well, they're going to get to see, Dallas twice or Daniel twice, whoever pitches twice. With the Eagles, we've seen, I think the last series, we saw a little bit of the issues that you can have with a 5-man lineup where you don't get enough at bats to your guys that are really seeing the ball well. I'm not sure if they're going to shorten that up as we get into the postseason or as as these games are really important. I guess we'll see that. But yeah, I do think the Preds maybe, I think you can say that have a slight edge overall in hitting.
Just came back to me when we spoke about the last Eagles series. We spoke specifically about shortening up the lineup because Dan was really the only one hitting the ball really well, but he was only coming up every 5th at bat.
Mm.
And so there's that. And the last couple of series for the Predators, hasn't it been that both Warda and Russell haven't really been hitting the ball all that well? It's
struggled. I mean, Russell always comes out to start the season hot and then cools off a bit. Warda had a hot start to the season early on. He had a rough series the last one, but he's a good hitter, and he showed out in the All-Star game. So I think those hits were all for Dallas in the All-Star game, weren't they?
It's hard to remember. Sure.
Trying to remember also. I think that maybe they weren't. I don't remember. The big hits he had in the All-Star game, I think, came off of Dallas, but I might be wrong on that.
All right. Do you want the action? If you want the action, I'll take the Predators.
I don't care either way.
All right. It's good for the show. I'll take the Predators.
All right. Nice.
All right. What do we got for a total? This is gonna be fun. Total
is going to be fun. Okay. Obviously, we have 2 very dominant pitching teams here, right? Yeah. Both teams have very good pitching, and it's going to come down to that second game. I think you have to go very low with the line just based on how well these teams have pitched and how they've also struggled to put the ball in play. They both also haven't walked a lot of people either, so it's not like you're just getting lots of runs here. So I'm going to set it at 11.5 and make you decide what you want to do.
Okay. To me, that's easy. I'll take the over.
Okay.
The last couple of times Dallas has pitched, he hasn't been nearly as dominant as he was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. All I visualize right now is 1-0, like 3-2, 1-0.
Yep. Let's all right. So we got 2 bets there, and then for our ladder, I'll be going with Ryan Kracht for mine. I assume you'll be going with Dallas Allen.
What are my other options?
Warda.
Is that it? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take Dallas Allen.
Okay. All right, Chris. Thanks for letting us gamble for a little bit. Your thought right now: who's the more dominant pitcher, Ryan or Dallas?
I got to go with Ryan. I mean, you saw some kinks in the armor with Dallas. If the drop ball's being hit, I don't think he has, a top level. I mean, he's got his banana ball, but that's a pitch that you don't see very much unless he gets really far ahead. I don't think he's got a dominant number 2 pitch with Ryan. I've had a little more success against him than I have Dallas personally, but I think that Ryan is just such a good pitcher. Like, he just keeps evolving his game. I think he's really unhappy with how that Cobra series went, and I think he's out for a vengeance in this one. So I think Ryan's the best player in this game, in my opinion, for sure. I think he definitely deserves some MVP love with the way he's carried this offense pretty much all season. But I mean, you've seen some flashes from Warda and Russ, but Kracht has been the one consistent piece of the lineup. And honestly, I think I may have mentioned this before on one of the episodes on the show. I think that it's been very impressive. Honestly, I think he may even deserve some love for most improved player. You might think that's crazy, but after last year, it seemed like maybe he was on the downtrend as a hitter. Pitching, he was struggling with the speed limit a little bit, and then he came back this year and just totally revamped his entire game, and he's one of the best hitters in the league, and he's reestablished himself as an elite player in this league too, unquestionably at both sides of the ball. So while I think he's the best player in this game, I think the Eagles are the better team. So I think it comes down to whether or not Warda's bat shows up. It's been a struggle for him the last few series, but he's been in this league for a while. He knows that it's been a struggle. So he's going to be hungry to get some hits out there. And I think when his bat shows up, when even him or Russ, one of those two shows up with them, I think that can offset having, maybe a weaker second arm, while McGlade is still a pretty good pitcher in this league. I think them having multiple good hitters can offset that, because I don't think the Eagles have 2 elite hitters on their team. I think they have a lot of solid hitters, but when we faced them, it was kind of about, you pitch everybody the same. It wasn't really, it's good and bad. When you're on, you feel like you can get all of them out, but if you're struggling, you feel like you have no breaks in the lineup. Whereas the Preds, it's kind of been pitch around Ryan, and it needs to not be that if they want to do anything in the postseason. So I think I like the Preds line in this game personally. I think it's like you said, a great way to end the regular season. Could be a World Series rematch if these teams can get back on the right track, and they both have a lot to play for. One of these teams is going to be dealing with some serious adversity going to the playoffs. So I think it's just couldn't be a bigger series for both teams. And I think the winner has a significant leg up going into the playoffs.
That's Chris Cheetam, everybody. That's why we have special guest correspondents to help with the show. That was
good news, Mike, is if he has to retire after next season, he's got a job on here as an analyst.
Yeah. That was
might have to.
That was spectacular. I don't know. What do you got, Trevor? You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much covered everything that I would really think about. I mean, he broke it down really well with the differences in the lineups and how you attack them from a pitching standpoint, and how the opposing pitcher is going to attack them. You'd expect Ryan to kind of just go after with the same approach. Although, if Daniel's on, then the good thing about that is you can really pitch around. If they are hitting 5 guys, you can pitch around Daniel, and then you're not going to face him again that inning potentially.
Right.
Whereas with Ryan, you might walk him, but he's going to get another at bat still.
Right.
So big difference.
I got 2 things here. We should probably just clarify real quick. The Eagles need to win the series to get the number 1 seed and get a bye into the National League Championship Series.
Correct.
So that's big for them. And if the Preds sweep, they finish second, so they would be the home team for this series versus the Wildcats. That's all,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any idea, can McGlade hit at all? Because he doesn't bat, right?
No, I mean, I really haven't seen him hit enough, but I have to assume, I've really never seen him take it at bat besides a few last year that I've watched on video, and you can't really take away a lot from limited at bats. Sometimes it takes a little while to get acclimated, but the way they use him, I have to assume that is not a strong suit. I think he's a solid pitcher in this league, and I think he's got a lot of upside on that side of the ball, but just based off of the lack of confidence of putting him in the lineup in any situation, not even just big situations, it really has been very limited at bats for him in his 2 years. I just have to assume that he's probably a below average hitter.
All right. Because they're really handcuffed if Russell and Warda aren't hitting. If
right.
no one else
absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
I
they
mean,
don't really have a lot left after that.
you'd imagine that he's probably a good hitter of the baseball. At least he's a baseball player. So
Right.
it's just a matter of not seeing wiffle ball pitches with enough experience to, I think, to have an impact. And I don't think obviously this is going to be the time where they try to get him some reps in. You know, maybe if that's something down the road that they try to do next season in some less meaningful games or something.
All right. I've got nothing left on my sheet to ask.
I got one question.
Okay, go.
Chris, if you were the Eagles manager and you wanted to trim the lineup down a little bit, what would be your approach? Would you go with a 4-man lineup? Would you try to go a 3-man lineup? If so, what would the lineup look like, you think?
I'm exclusively a 3-man lineup guy. I think you have, and if you want to win anything in this league, you got to go with your 3 best hitters. And I think the combination of Dan, Waylon, and Dallas is where it's at. Landon is a very good hitter in this league, and I think he's gonna be a really good hitter. But he's a guy with not as much experience. It's one of, if not the most dominant pitcher in the league. I just don't like that matchup. I feel like that's something that Ryan is going to attack because I don't know if Dallas has seen him before this series. He has not, I don't think. But the other two have a lot of experience. Maybe not a lot, but they've seen him. I mean, they played in the World Series a few years ago. They played plenty of times in the regular season, at least. So I think those guys can have a better chance of hitting well off Ryan. And then, Dallas has really gotten his eye up this year. So he's a tough out as well. But I think Landon is a little bit more of a free swinger. Hasn't seen Ryan, so Ryan can easily use that against him and manipulate the strike zone. And it's just you can walk Dan, a guy like Dan, or if Dallas is hitting the ball well, or if even Waylon is, because he can get hot too. Any of those guys, you could pitch around him a little bit and then maybe not have to face him if you're that dominant, which Ryan is. So if he's got his A game, I'm wanting to go with 3 to just get as many plate appearances as you can against them, because that's the only way you're going to get runs off him. If you just you got to catch something.
I was just going to say Zach Waylon, most important player in the series all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times these MLW series, that's what it comes down to: the second guy, third guy, and how they perform. The same thing with Ward on the other side and Russ. The counter argument that I'll say as far as experience against Ryan, and I think I mentioned this before in other series previews where Ryan was pitching, is that you're really facing what is a new pitcher essentially,
Right.
With the way that he's approaching and the pitches that he's throwing are a lot different from what his arsenal was last year and previous seasons. So, it's really kind of, that's why Ryan's been so effective this year, is that you're facing somebody that you never really faced before, even though you thought you faced them before.
Right. I definitely agree.
I agree with you though on that lineup. I think that's the lineup that I would run out there as well.
Yeah, if you trim Blade, Walker, and Landon out of there, you're taking 2 people out of the lineup who still would be the best hitters on the Magic squad.
Yeah, that's very true.
All right. That was fairly short, but full of information. I'm pumped for the series. Before we say goodbye to Mr. Cheetam, and thank him very much for his information here, let's bet on a little NFL. Jorgie's been on the last 2 weeks. Jorgie is a pretty typical young bettor who lays points on the road, and he got bailed out the first time. I think maybe it wasn't, but he took a road team the second time. He took the Browns. That one lost, so he's 1-1. Which road favorite are you going to take this week, Chris?
I'm actually not going to go with the road favorite. I have a couple picks, and I don't know when this video is going to be posted, so I have a couple, but I really like, I know it's Wednesday, so I'm assuming it's not going to be out by tomorrow, but I really like the Broncos to lay the points tomorrow. No Jonathan Taylor. I don't get why this line's at 3.5 at home with the Broncos. I think they're the better football team as is. No Shaq Leonard. I honestly, I think this is one of the worst lines that Vegas is. Maybe I'm running right into a trap here, but the way the Colts have been playing this year, really the Broncos haven't been that great either, but I just think the Broncos, Russ played a little better last week. This Colts defense has been trash. Matt Ryan's trash. Their best players injured on both sides of the football. Whereas, and I don't think the loss of Javonte Williams, really should change the line a whole lot. I think this is going to be, I think Melvin Gordon can do just fine in this matchup as long as he doesn't fumble the ball 14 times like he's been doing. But that would be like if this game was on Sunday, this would be like my hammer lock, max bet, everything under the sun. I really like that line a lot. And
well, I'm going to have this posted before. I'll have this posted
Okay.
Thursday morning sometime so people will know.
Right.
Just so you know, earlier today, that line was at 3. It dropped down to 3 and it's creeping back down there again.
Right.
So, all right. So I have to lock you in for, your lock of the week. So is the lock of the week the Broncos?
Yeah, I love the Broncos line. Like I probably won't even bet on the Ravens one just because it's an in division game, and I think it is gonna be a really close game, really tight. I think the Broncos might blow them out tomorrow, like 2 scores or more.
Trevor, are you listening to this?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna pile the money on the Broncos. I mean, not the Broncos.
No, you're not.
Yeah. See, the problem is if you go against me, that means you like Matt Ryan, and he sucks. He's terrible. He might be worse. I hate him.
2 weeks ago, one of the worst lines I've ever seen.
Yep.
The Colts were only getting 5.5 points against the Chiefs. Terrible line. So I took the Colts. Genius.
Yep.
Outright win.
I made the Colts. Me and Jason made the Colts our max lock hammer play on the pick'em, and yeah, that didn't go very well. It's probably one of the most because it was like almost double digits, like the other way. I think it was maybe 5.5. I think that. It was a couple of weeks, so I'm having a hard time remembering. But if I remember right, I thought the Colts were home in that game, and maybe they weren't. I don't know.
Are you talking about the contest that we run here at Fade the Mahoney? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I think you took the Colts. You laid the points. They were hosting.
They were on the road actually. So we did take a road heavy favorite, and that did not go very well for us.
They lost like 24-0 or something.
Yep, that was the score. Yep, but yeah, Broncos would be my play. I just think this Colts team sucks. If this game was in Indy, and it was 3.5, which it wouldn't be obviously, I think that's where that would be a fair line. I thought that the Broncos were on the road when I saw the line, but I was like, they're home. The Colts suck. And the Broncos, to be fair, haven't been that good, but their defense is just awesome. And I think no Jonathan Taylor. I'm surprised that line hasn't moved out to, 4.5, 5.5, even a touchdown.
This is exactly the kind of information that we need. So that's excellent. All right. So we've got you down for the Broncos -3.5. People who've been watching the show know that what we've been doing. I'm going to be back later with the E-Donk to get his lock of the week and the Lucas lock of the week. But since we've got Trevor here now, Trevor's been studying all day from what I can tell. Trevor, you lost last week. You're 2-2 on the year. I'm 2-2. E-Donk's 1-3. Lucas is 1-3. Jorgie is 1-1. So you and I are the only ones who aren't completely crapping the bed so far. That's what you come to the show for losers.
And how about if I would have just stuck with my first pick, I'd have been fine. Think long, think wrong.
Yeah. Well, was that a push or would you have won?
Was the final line 3 or 3.5?
No, I don't know. I'll have to check the fancy.
It's either push or win. I don't know, but I think long, think wrong.
Yep.
But this week, I've studied all week. By that, I mean the last 4 minutes of the day today. And I decided once again that the Eagles are a little too high on their horses here.
Mm.
They're going to Arizona, I think.
Yep.
Arizona's getting 5.5 points at home. I like the home dogs, and that's where I'm going here. And I think the Cardinals might actually win this game outright.
Wow.
Chris Cheetam does not like that pick. Does that make you feel better, Trevor?
Yes.
Full disclosure, I was very, very close to going with the Eagles and hammering the points on the road because I actually am a Walmart Cardinals fan, and I can't emphasize how much I've hated their 2-2 start. I mean, they look horrible. I mean, I don't get how they're 2-2 right now. They should
24-20 win.
Congratulations, Trevor.
I agree.
Congratulations. Just to remind everybody, Trevor, E-Donk, and I, we bet $100 per game every week. So we've got pretty good action here. And I usually can count on Trevor to get his wrong more often than not, but you're going to be 3-2. It seems pretty.
Yeah.
I'm sharp this year. Year. Things have changed.
All right, that's going to do it for this section. Like I said, I'll be back. Hopefully, we'll have a seamless transition and having to Edonk join us as well. But Chris, you fill it up, man. That was really good. Thanks for the info. First and foremost, we're just so excited for the series. And then Trevor, you and I, we got to figure out how we're going to gamble on the postseason. We'll have to put our head together and think about that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right. So a mini good gambling, everybody. We'll be back in just a second. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Oh, I guess I should mention, sorry. We had like a 10-minute discussion about that poker cheating thing before the show started. If people are interested, I don't know, if we get like, I don't know, 500 views, maybe I'll clip it and send it out to the world. Or if people want to see it, I don't know, but it's out there, or it exists. If people want to see it, let us know. Now, goodbye for real.
All right, fellas, I'm back with my lock of the week. Last week did not go so well. Cleveland really showed their true colors as they lost the game when Marcus Mariota completed about 9 passes. So my bad on that one. I didn't realize how bad Cleveland was. Mike was correct with that one. But this week, I'm going to go with another road team. I love going with my road teams. I'm going to take Dallas plus 5.5 on the road against the Rams. That offense line looks awful. They were getting, I don't know how many sacks they gave up against San Francisco, but it was a lot. Now you're facing Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. And Stafford just doesn't look like a good quarterback right now. You got Trayvon Diggs back there ball hawking. And Cooper Rush is just winning games right now, playing really solid. So, even if they don't win the game, I think 5.5 is a good spread. And, they might lose by a field goal. So I'm going to take the Cowboys this week. Hopefully I can improve to 2-1.
All right. Smooth transition. We've got the Edonk here. Again, to recap, Edonk got his wrong last week on
the Jaguars.
Yep, Jaguars. Tough one. Up 14-0. Had to feel good. Trevor got his wrong. He switched to the Texans. I got mine right. Lucas got his right. Lucas is hot. He had the Cowboys. Edonk, what's your...
Cost me a bit. Lucas cost me a bit.
Did he?
Yeah, we faded him and then he fucked me.
Yeah. Well,
It's not good.
when he's 25%, you're going to do okay fading him in the long run. All right, Edonk, what's your lock of the week?
Well, this is a twofold pick. One, the Vikings I thought looked pretty good last weekend in London. Their offense was clicking a little more than I thought it would.
Okay.
And the Bears are horrendous.
They're really
So
bad.
we're gonna go with the
Right.
Vikings.
What are you laying there? 7. Okay.
7?
Yep.
6.5. I don't know. 7, 6.5. Whatever it is.
Yeah. When we sent this out earlier, they were 7. But to be fair, I'll look at the most recent number, and if it's down to 6.5, we'll do that. Let's look.
Probably isn't. Probably go up to 7.5.
Still 7. Still 7. Okay, you're locked in at 7. I'm going to go, my lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Steelers. Steelers are getting 14 points. That's a lot of points in the NFL. So for me, Pittsburgh, even though they're also terrible, plus 14 versus the Bills. The star of the show is actually Lucas, though. We need to know what's Lucas's lock of the week.
Lucas's lock of the week is the Chargers. He's going to go again with the Chargers.
You mean a road favorite?
Yeah. He loves road favorites.
Yep.
Definitely does. Road favorites and yeah, he's just the chalkiest of chalk. It's great.
Let's be fair for Lucas as well. Yep. Minus 2.5. He's only 2.5 for him. He's sharp. Okay. Last piece of gambling. We were previously in the largest survivor pool in the world. Our streak ended in week 4. I picked the Lions. I was told by many people, don't pick the Lions. Their best running back and their best receiver are out. Don't go with them. Strategically, I thought it made the most sense. And without their 2 best offensive players, they only scored 45 points. So clearly I don't know what I'm doing. They scored 45 points and lost, so we're out. But thankfully, the E-Donk and I, we diversify because that's a good investment strategy. We're also in a different, obviously smaller, but still potentially profitable survivor. And this week, we're going to go with everybody else in the world, and we're going to take the Bills. Just as long as they win by less than 14, it's perfect. That sound good to you, E-Donk?
Yeah, that's who we are going with. I think how many I think it's about like a $20,000 prize pool for
That's
this
correct.
one.
Correct. I think the number was 17 or 18, something like that. Something get me even for the year if we can hit that.
Yeah, I think so. Be nice.
Let's finish the show off. It's already gone long with the other pieces. Drop the dad joke of the week on us, and then you can go get some breakfast.
Okay, so where do you take someone who got injured in a peekaboo contest?
I don't know. I love the setup though. What is it?
You take them to the ICU.
All right, go get some. What are you gonna get? Challah French toast?
It's challah French toast,
Challah.
but challah, y'all.
Good gambling, everybody.
Later.